Straight ahead on 12 News, the #1 challenge facing businesses and a more telling look at the local job market. Then, raise a glass, see what has Brooklyn Park in good spirits. Plus, a tribute to the area's potato farming past.
This was known as the potato capital of the world.
And how that legacy will live on at the University of Minnesota. 12 News starts right now. Hello, and thanks for joining us. It is the #1 challenge facing businesses, finding qualified workers.
Thousands and thousands of jobs are going unfilled. In fact, job vacancies in Minnesota are at a 13-year high and have doubled since 2010. However, there's more to the story. Many of the job openings are in high turnover fields and wages are not rising. The median wage offer for all openings is just above $12 an hour. That's compared to $13 per hour at the end of 2013. But an economist with the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis told a Brooklyn Park business group pay could be changing.
That might be changing going forward because if they see opportunities to make profit, and yes, they have to pay more to their employees, they could still make more profits by getting more people.
A state employment survey showed a decline in openings in well-paid industries. According to state officials, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They say it may simply indicate the movement of high-skilled workers out of low-wage jobs.
Now to another issue getting attention in school districts throughout the state, the achievement gap. The big question is how best to raise the level of academic success among students of color.
Yes, I believe that there are many children, many families in our community whose culture we don't value, whose culture we don't understand, whose culture we don't love.
Candidates for Osseo School Board took on the issue of closing the racial achievement gap at a forum in Maple Grove. The Osseo School District is a racially diverse district serving more than 20,000 students who speak more than 80 different languages. Many of the candidates agreed there are a number of factors behind the achievement gap, including cultural, economic, and sociological issues. And it'll take partnerships between families, schools, and the community to make progress.
And we can't just look at one and expect the solution to come out of it. We need to look at kind of a holistic, big picture overview of what the issue is, and then address the problem based on that information.
There are 9 candidates in the November 4th election vying for 3 seats on the Osseo School Board.
Crystal police say they are seeing an uptick in car break-ins. There have been about 15 thefts in the past couple of weeks.
Well, it's a trend. You know, we might have spotty one here and there, but we've had a couple nights where we've had 5 or 6, and it's been both the north end of the city and the south end, so it's kind of all over the place.
Police say most of the thefts are happening at night. Thieves have taken laptops, money, cell phones. Police say it's a good idea not to leave any valuables in your car.
The Dairy Queen in Crystal is one of 18 Minnesota stores now identified in the company's data breach. The company's systems hacked contained credit card numbers and expiration dates. The breach lasted for the better part of August. It was similar to the malware attacks experienced by Target and Cub Foods. If you plan to travel Highway 100 this weekend, prepare for a detour. Both directions of Highway 100 will be closed at Brooklyn Boulevard while crews paint the Brooklyn Boulevard Bridge. The roadway closes tonight and will reopen at 5 a.m. on Monday. In the months ahead, you will be able to walk into a liquor store and buy spirits that were made right here in Brooklyn Park.
The City Council has approved a plan to allow distilleries with cocktail rooms on site. Delane Cleveland caught up with the man who plans to open Brooklyn Park's first distillery.
On the outside, it looks like a nondescript office building, but go inside and walk down this unassuming hallway to Suite 28.
Just a small, humble space.
And you've entered the future home of Skolven Distillery.
That's all going to kind of take place over here.
Norwegian for toast to your friends.
It's called Skolven. We anticipate everyone's going to call it Skolven. Can't win everything.
What was once a hobby turned into a passion project for Brooklyn Park resident Tyson Schnichter and his wife.
I've always liked good beer and good wine and spirits, and so once I actually started thinking about it, I was like, man, this could be really cool. Passes through this little loop right here.
But since he moved into the space in July, it didn't take long to discover that building a small business from the ground up is no easy task.
I just kind of having a ball, being terrified, trying to start up the American dream. It's oval shaped.
He has to decide what bottles to use,
Each bottle has got its own unique advantages and disadvantages.
determine the look of the company logo,
It's going to be pretty similar to this.
and purchase all of the necessary equipment to create the hard liquor on site.
We don't have a crew of 20 people where we can delegate things out.
Thankfully, the small businesses around him are lending a hand by helping with t-shirts
The logo, I absolutely love it.
and donating a fridge.
T-shirts on that side, fridge on that side. That saved me $200.
Another helpful hand came from the city of Brooklyn Park.
I think it's just an exciting thing to have. It's more up and coming. You know, there's a lot of distilleries in northeast Minneapolis, and to have something like that in Brooklyn Park is really a huge asset to the community.
I'm not looking to make $1 million bucks, just want to have a decent living, and everything sounds like that's possible.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The Brooklyn Park Distillery expects to open sometime between January and May of 2015. And what do you think, Alex? We'll probably do pretty well.
Stay tuned, right?
We'll be watching. Coming up, how a Brooklyn Park family will forever be linked with potatoes.
And a little bit later in sports, the race is on for cross-country championships in the Lake and Northwest Suburban conferences.
But first, a decent fall weekend. Look for showers Sunday afternoon.
It has been more than 20 years since the last commercial potato farm stopped producing potatoes in Brooklyn Park.
But thanks to a generous donation from a potato farming family, the city's connection to potatoes will continue in a very meaningful way.
I call this and my cousin's place next door an island of serenity in Brooklyn Park.
A stretch of 85th Avenue in Brooklyn Park is one of the few visible reminders of the city's proud potato farming history.
We retain 2.2 acres here, and that's where my great-grandfather's farmstead is.
The heart of the farm is still here, but the surrounding land where homes and businesses now stand all used to produce thousands of potatoes each year.
The community of Osseo in 1910 or thereabouts, I had more carloads of potatoes shipped out of there than any other shipping point in the U.S.
Eldon Tessman got out of the potato business in the 1970s, but his family's legacy will live on.
The bulk of our endowment will be going to the horticulture department to do work as far as the potato industry is concerned.
The last 40-acre parcel of Tessman farmland will be put in a trust, with one of the beneficiaries being the University of Minnesota.
It's mainly potato research, and I happen to study potatoes. That's why I got it.
The endowment will support research on potatoes by grad students like Na Soon.
Somebody really care about my research, and they believe in me, believe in my research, and believing, like she said, believing in make a difference.
The university recently recognized the family for the donation. This gift means the Tessman family will forever be linked with the potato.
It's hard to believe that there used to be a farm in Brooklyn Park and that was the largest potato producing area really in this region. And they realized that the importance of research, the importance of the University of Minnesota and what that meant to them, that they want to make sure that that continues.
And a farming family in Brooklyn Park will continue to be an influence.
There will always be challenges coming up, and I think rightfully the university is the one that will help in coming up with solutions for these challenges, whatever they might be for the potato industry.
It is a century-old farm. Eldon Tessman says he will work very hard to make sure the farmstead with the house, 2 barns, granary, and a machine shed will stay intact. And Alex, something they said more over and over in the interview is he wanted to be a good steward of his money. He wanted it to keep helping people.
Nice to see them recognized as
Definitely. Coming up, a world debut on stage in Hopkins.
But first in sports, highlights from a night of close games in the soccer playoffs. John Jacobson has that and more when we return. John's here now with sports. It's time to run.
Great week for running, right? It's
That's
been
right.
comfortable the last times, and these Wayzata teams really did well on Thursday. We are heading into the key time of the season for cross-country runners. Conference meets are the start of the big end-of-season races. They're off and running at the Lake Conference Championships. Wayzata senior Anna French wins the girls' race with a time of 14 minutes, 8.7 seconds. Annika Lerdahl takes second place, and Michaela Keller-Miller third as the Trojans win the team title. Wayzata also a heavy favorite in the boys' race. Connor Olson with plenty left at the end as he sprints to the finish for first place. Hopkins' John Klecker is second, and Wayzata's Jarrett Carpenter is third. We check the team scores, starting with the girls. Wayzata wins with 37 points. Edina edges Minnetonka for second. Eden Prairie is fourth, and Hopkins fifth. On the boys' side, Wayzata is 10 points better than runner-up Hopkins. Then it's Edina, Eden Prairie, and Minnetonka. In contrast to the compact 5-team Lake Conference, the Northwest Suburban now has 14 teams running at the conference meet. The girls race up first at the Elk River Golf Club. Tutino Grace, Irondale, and Spring Lake Park racing for the first time in this conference meet. Blaine 8th grader Sarah Olson races to the win in a time of 15 minutes, 4.9 seconds, 11 seconds ahead of the runner-up. In Navy, Grace's Michaela Brands, Amy Gasperlin, and Maggie Lucelle are 5, 6, 7, leading the Eagles to the team title. Armstrong's Megan Stewart is next in 8th place. And then it's the boys' turn to hit the course. Centennial sophomore Reed Carrick is the champion in 15 minutes, 57.7 seconds. Tutino Grace's Kevin Dado is 4th. Kyle Sweeney of Armstrong 5th. And Mitch Kramer of Osseo in 6th place. Here's how the girls' team scores look. Conference newcomer Tutino Grace raises to the title, 10 points ahead of Centennial. Armstrong is 4th, Osseo 5th, Maple Grove 7th, Champlin Park 8th, and Park Center 13th. The Armstrong boys beat runner-up Andover by 7 points for the title, with Centennial 3rd, Maple Grove is 6th, Osseo 7th, Tutino Grace 10th, Champlin Park 12th, and Park Center 13th. Thursday was a busy night for soccer playoffs. The Armstrong girls entered the postseason with just one loss and as the number 2 seed in Section 6AA. They faced district rival Cooper in the section quarterfinals. First half, Maggie Spellman leading the free kick for Mariah Haberle, who scores, and it's 1-0 Armstrong. The Hawks hang around, and late in the second half, a loose ball in front of the Armstrong goal is headed in by Maria Girding. That ties the score at 1. We go to overtime, and in the second OT, Holly Enderle's corner kick is headed in by Anna Wilcox. That's the game winner. Armstrong advances with a 2-1 win. They play Hopkins in the semifinals Saturday. Section 5AA started play Tuesday, so the Thursday games were semifinal contests in this section. The Maple Grove girls look to follow a strong regular season with a postseason run. Second-seeded Maple Grove hosting third-seed Mounds View. First half play, the Crimson's Allie Bird curls one toward the net, but it goes off the post. That was as close as Maple Grove got to scoring all night. Opening minutes of the second half, and the Mustangs' Marnie Zilka crosses the ball out front. Julia Anderson is there to chip it into the Maple Grove net. That's it for scoring. Mounds View eliminates Maple Grove 1-0. Park Center hoping to knock off the number 1 seed Maple Grove in the 5AA boys semis. Scoreless late in the match when Maple Grove's Ian DuBois knocks in a loose ball. That comes with 5 minutes to play, and it stands up as the game winner as Maple Grove survives to stay unbeaten.
The ball was coming over the top, so I just tried to get into a little hole there. I got it off my head. I think the goalie made the first save, but I got the tap in on the rebound, so that was pretty nice.
And coming up tonight, Friday, Maple Grove Osseo football live at 7 o'clock.
Big
rivalry. Great game.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, John.
In our local vote 2014, we wrap up our look at Crystal Council members with 2 candidates running for council in Ward 2.
Jeff Kolb is a small business owner and a member of the Crystal Planning Commission. Joseph Selton is a mechanic and has served on the council since 2007.
Hi, my name is Jeff Kolb, and I'm asking for your vote for Crystal City Council in the November election. I'm a husband, a father, a small business owner, and a first-time candidate for political office. I got in this race because I think Crystal is a great place to live, work, and shop, but I also know there are things we could do better. I've really enjoyed getting out and talking to so many neighbors during this campaign and learning what you think are the priorities for our city. If I haven't made it to your house yet, I'll most likely be by soon. I hope to earn your vote in November. To find out more about me and where I stand, please visit www.kolbforcrystal.com or call me at 612-314-5652. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Councilmember Joe Selton, currently representing Ward 2 in the City of Crystal for the last 8 years. As a resident of Ward 2 for 35 years, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve. I believe in a good budget should reflect what is valued by the community and also protects past investments. I'm committed to a common sense budget that also provides for a good future long-term investments. Living in Crystal must be affordable and it must continue to be a great place to live. I continue to be committed to effective and timely response to citizens' requests for information and assistance and fair and equal representation. I believe a council member must serve for the right reason, for the good of the citizens they represent. Therefore, I again ask for your support and your vote for Joe Selton on November 4th.
Coming up, a new show in Hopkins helps people discover Zen.
We'll tell you what else you can discover up next in Weekend Showcase. Some of the biggest pumpkins you will ever see will tip the scales in a Golden Valley neighborhood on Saturday. It's the annual Kelly Drive Pumpkin Weigh-Off. It's now an 18-year tradition that includes a parade too. Festivities start at 11. The weigh-off is at 1 p.m. May the best or biggest pumpkin win. Finally, Stages Theater Company in Hopkins debuts another world premiere.
The Children's Theater brings back some familiar friends for a new tale. Neil Persley has a preview in Weekend Showcase.
Are you waiting for someone?
It's really actually quite a simple story.
Although it's definitely autumn outside, it's summertime for Stages Theater's presentation of Zen Ties. This is playwright and director Janine Kalum's second adaptation of the children's books of John J. Muth, starring Stillwater, the giant panda.
It takes place over the summer when Stillwater's nephew, named Koo, comes to visit for the summer vacation. And Koo only speaks in haiku. When Koo gets off the train to visit his uncle sees him and says,
"Hi, Koo!"
And then there's the play.
I brought you some welcome balloons.
The setting is a neighborhood where three siblings, Addie, Michael, and Carl, have befriended Stillwater, and now Koo, played by Isabella Lockhart.
Violet petal, caressing cheek, butterfly kisses.
As Stillwater encourages the children to help a grouchy old neighbor in need, they find their efforts rewarded in unexpected ways.
Even if you don't like someone, then you guys can actually turn out to be like best friends. And so you shouldn't judge by someone about how you think they are.
And the quickest way isn't always the best way.
For Weekend Showcase, I'm Neil Persley.
And Zen Ties is at the Stages Theater now through November 2nd. That does it for us.
Community Corner is coming up next.